Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Closet Confession podcast. I'm your hostess, Maria. And today we're going to be confessing and connecting with a really good friend. She's also a gym girl. She has competed in bodybuilding and powerlifting. Yep. She's a fashionista as well. And she probably knows more about cars than your boyfriend, or all your boyfriends together. So, Lucy, welcome to the closet.
Thank you for having me.
We've been trying to do this for a while.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, we talked about it like maybe a month into getting to know each other at the gym. And it's been probably 4 or 5 months since then.
Yes, but we finally made it. I know pretty much everything about you, but I want you to share it with our audience. So a little bit about yourself, where you're from, because you've lived in many places, and you've got a lot.
I've lived a life. So I'm from England originally. I'm from London, born and raised. And then I lived in Japan for about 10 years before I moved to America. My mom was American and was from New York originally. I grew up in London, like I said. And then after Japan, I was trying to figure out what my next move would be. And so I had a conversation with my dad who was like, you should move to LA. At the time I was doing hair for a living. I was doing vintage hairstyling. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm going to go to Hollywood. And I moved to Hollywood and I was like, I hate it here.
It's almost different from London and Japan.
It is. And it's also a completely different beast in terms of the people. In order to sort of fit in, I realized I'd have to completely change who I was. And I just didn't want to do that.
No. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
So how did you get to into the fitness industry, and what does fitness mean to you?
That's a really good question. I found fitness. I'd always been into some kind of athletic sport. So I was a horse rider growing up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't talk about it that much. But I rode for England for the under 18s. Yeah. So I did equestrian for dressage, cross country, and show jumping. And during my show jumping moment, which was my qualifier for the Junior Olympics, so it was to get in. I had like a really horrific accident. I fell off my horse. Yeah, I fell off my horse. My horse kind of jolted in midair because the tractor dropped a piece of sheet metal in the background. It was like a really fluke. Yes, during the show. Often in England, shows for equestrians happen on farms and other horse riding schools, and farms are active farms. So things are going on in the background. It really was just a fluke accident, but you learn in horse riding, it's always your fault. It's never the horse's fault.
Wow.
So I fell off, I hit my spine on a jump, and I woke up in hospital 3 days later, and that pretty much...
You blacked out?
Yeah, I blacked out. So I ended up having spinal surgery in 2015 at the age of 27.
That is...
Yeah. So I'm like fused in my lower back, which actually plays into how I got into fitness. So I struggled with an eating disorder for probably the best side of 20 years at this point. I'm very open about this. I've talked about it a lot. It definitely came back to bite me during bodybuilding. And part of that was I was desperate to be super thin, and I was raised in an environment and in a society that is popular. So part of being super thin, as your brain tells you, is eat as little as possible and walk as long as you can. So I would walk like 8 miles every day on, 700 calories. And I was pretty young, but at this point that was making my back so much worse because I had barely any nutrients or fuel in me. And I had no education about any kind of nutrition or athleticism at all. And so when I had my back surgery, my surgeon said, look, you'll never lift like heavy weight, but you should do some weightlifting. He was so wrong. He was like, you should do some weightlifting in the gym. And I ended up doing that. And I don't like being told what I can and can't do, especially by someone who's not me. And so I was like, fuck you, I'm going to...
Yeah, absolutely. You can start as much as you want. Because I went through, we talked about that, eating disorder. And my doctor said, I want you to train because, first of all, it can help you with your bone density.
Yeah.
And second of all, is that if you trip and fall, if you have muscle on you, then you might not break something.
Yes.
So that was another reason why he wanted me to start lifting.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many health benefits to it. So
100%.
I got in the gym, but I really didn't know what I was doing. So I did what I think most newbies do in the gym, which is I went to the cardio equipment and watched everyone on the machines. And I was like, what does that machine do? Like, the problem with this too is some people still don't really know what a machine is for, but they use it for the wrong body part. So I saw people using like a leg abductor machine for their arms, and I was like, oh, I guess that's
That's a very creative one. I haven't seen that one, but I can totally relate because I was a cardio bunny in the beginning, and I was the classic. I get bulky too easily. Like I'm not gonna do upper body. It's like every single girl that I know.
Yep.
And then I feel that the more you hit the gym, the more you learn, and also competing. That's where I learned everything about nutrition and about bodybuilding.
Yeah, same. And I started in the gym like most of us do. I didn't know anything. I slowly got the courage up to start using machines, but I didn't touch a free weight probably until 3 years into it.
Oh, wow.
No, I was like so hyper aware of everyone around me that I just felt like I'd look like an idiot, right?
So you felt intimidated.
Like I wasn't good enough. Like I would never look like that, or I would never be that kind of person in a gym. I'd never be like a true gym girly. And so I don't fit here, but I'm still going to be here because it's good for my mental health.
Yeah.
And then I did a weight loss challenge. I went through a horrible breakup. And I was like, I feel like I have just let myself go on every level, physically, mentally, the whole shebang. And I was like, I'm going to do a weight loss challenge. The place I did my weight loss challenge, and I will shout them out, is Ready Fit Go in Hermosa Beach.
Here in Hermosa.
Yep, right here in Hermosa. It's a meal prep company in Hermosa Beach. I went to them for meal prep, and there was a person there called Ken who is a natural bodybuilder, and he said, hey, I'm doing a bodybuilding show in I think it was 3 months, right? This is July, and he's doing the show in October, and he said, do you want to do it? And I'm like, how much is it going to cost me? And he's like, oh, it's free.
Oh, how?
Yeah. And I'm like,
Interesting.
oh, hell yeah. I get free food, not free food, but free nutrition, free training. And I'm going to be a bodybuilder by the end of it.
Amazing.
Which, of course, we all know is not what actually happens.
I know, but I think like that kept you out of your comfort zone.
It was my introduction to
And it was, and pushed you to do that.
Absolutely. And I lost 36 pounds in 3 months, which arguably is not necessarily the best thing to do if you want sustainability on weight loss, but at the time it's what I needed. I needed that mental challenge, and I felt fantastic and I looked great. And I did my first show and I loved it. I love the energy, and I was like, this is awesome. And I got my ass handed to me. There was no way I was going away with a medal.
Did you do it as a challenge, or did you want to win?
No, I did it. Well, so I did
you're competitive. Yeah.
I did it as a challenge, but of course I wanted to win at the same time. So it was one of those things. I knew I was going to come dead last when I saw the girls I'd be up against, right? But then I talked to them, and almost every single one of them, this was their third, fourth, fifth show. 10th show, they had been bodybuilding for 4 years, and
they were probably taking gear too.
No, it was a natural show.
Natural.
Yeah, I've always only competed at natural shows because I know that I don't intend to ever take, and so I've no reason to go up against people that I know are enhanced, and it's not a judgment thing at all. You do whatever you need to do. It's it's an unfair advantage that I don't want to participate in and then feel bad about myself because I am not up to snuff,
That's why I stopped competing, because I saw the other girls, and I'm like, oh, if I want to ever place, I would have to take gear, and it's not worth it for me.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's about your value in where is this as a priority for you? Also, a lot of the women I know, and this is women specifically, but men too, if they have ever done shows and they're taking or what have you, they've often come off when they're close to their late 20s, early 30s because they want to have children. They're worried about the long-term health effects, which absolutely I totally get. So, yeah. But that was my introduction. As for what fitness means to me, I think it's a stabilizer on the days where I'm not solid. I don't feel like my feet are firmly on the ground. I'm having like a bad mental health moment. I'm due on my period and I want to kill everyone and eat everything. I know I can't because I have goals that I want to get to. So I have to,
It's therapy.
yeah, therapy. It's
100%.
happy place. I've got friends there and people that
Social circle.
like-minded. I meet great people at the gym. Yeah, like that's where we met. And, we weren't even necessarily in a position where we needed to talk, but it just happened and it was very organic. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would say for me, it's the same thing. It's my social circle. Everybody, it's either work or working out. Like the people that I know from.
You have a very social job too. And so I feel like that ties into...
Yeah, but I feel that everybody that has to do with customer service is pretty much just like my job.
It's all the same.
I make people drunk, but you guys make them people healthy and fit.
Yes.
And you come across a lot of people, and then you get to see the same people again and again, and you can create a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
So how did you transition? Because I've been in the fitness industry, but powerlifting, I admire it, I respect it, but it's not something that I would be interested in.
Sure.
I don't think I can do it. So how did you transition from bodybuilding, which is all about aesthetics, to performance?
No, that's
powerlifting.
again a great question. I will also say, I think anyone can powerlift, but the question is, if you don't feel the need to do it, if it's not something that you see the challenge in it, then you shouldn't do it. Unless you're going to put your all into it, there's no point, right?
Yeah.
But I think you would do great in powerlifting. Honestly, it's really impressive to see. I think both of you. I think it's really impressive to see how much weight you can lift, but knowing everything is relative to you too. So how I got into powerlifting is I worked for a solid 10 months in my prep for bodybuilding. I went all out. I lost my period for 4 months. I could feel my feet, my bones through my feet.
What do you mean?
Also, I hold my weight naturally. I'm 5'7" and I sit at around 165 to 170 pounds at my regular, just like
so normal
maintenance, eating, training. And this before, I have a lot more muscle on me now than I did, primarily because of powerlifting. But at the time, I had not really built that much muscle. I got down to 118 for stage.
That's very low for you.
Yeah. So
for your
60
height,
pounds for my height, for my build. I've always been built the way that I am. I'm not a small built woman by any means. Like I'm dense. I'm not in a like, oh, I'm fat, but just I'm dense. Like I
think that's because you're tall as well.
Yeah, tallish. I'll take it.
5'7". That's tall, babe.
I think 5'4". But hey,
okay, 5'4.5".
And 5'5" is the national average for women.
Yeah,
you're at height. But I think that effectively what happened is I train, and of course, like most people who bodybuild, they're like, this is my moment. I'm gonna get my pro card, and this prep, I was absolutely gunning for first place in every show I did. I was like, I am getting first. I'm getting my pro card. I want to compete as a pro. Like, for me, that wasn't a bucket list thing anymore. It's like, I'm all in. Like, I weighed my sushi on my birthday at the restaurant and I didn't have rice. My friend.
At least you went to a restaurant. I didn't. I spent it in the gym anytime.
I did it because a girlfriend of mine was visiting in town. I haven't seen her in ages. And so she was like, we're going to a restaurant. I'm like, I'm bringing my weight scale. I'm bringing my scale. And so I ate my fish and I told them no sauce and, it's weird shit.
Yeah.
And my friends didn't get it, but Scott did, luckily. So, but basically, I did all of that and I got third place at all of my shows. And at the time, I was heartbroken. I was so upset because
you got third place.
I got third place. I wanted first. For me, there's first, and everything after that is irrelevant. That's for me, right? But again, you're on like no calories. You've worked for 10. I mean,
it's exhausting.
By the time I hit my last show, I'd been in prep for a year. And the truth is,
that is insane.
At the time, when I looked at myself and I got my images back and everything, I didn't care. I was like, I deserve first, right? We'll do that.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, well, the judges didn't see this and that person didn't look as good as me and I have a bigger lat spread because my category is figure. And so they care about, there's different categories. They care about different things. So they care about a lat spread and I have a really good lat spread. And I was like, I have bigger lats, blah, 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 blah. Now it's been 3 years and I look at those pictures and I'm like, yeah, I deserve the place I got.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But again, I'm fed, I'm trained.
You're in a good state. Yeah.
You know, at the time I was not ready for that big pill that I had to swallow. But my feedback was, you have a great shape, but you need more size. And so
A lower body or upper body?
all of it,
All of
everything.
it.
They just, yes, you know, they want more muscle. And so I thought, okay, you know what? How am I going to get bigger? I'm going to get stronger first and build that foundation, and then I'm going to build muscle. So I did powerlifting because people had suggested it would be a good fit for me. They were like, look, you're competitive. You're actually really strong. Like, you can lift big weight. You should try powerlifting. And I'm like, sure. Did it. Loved it. Did it for 2 years. And then 2.5 years in, I'm like, my body hurts.
Okay. Okay.
My central nervous system is fried. I'm exhausted. Powerlifting is not for the weak in any respect.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's all consuming, and so is
But do you
bodybuilding.
feel that there's more injuries in powerlifting? Because that is one of my biggest worries.
Biggest deterrent.
Not for me, but for other people that I know that are in their sport.
You know, it's
Because you have to have the perfect form, but you also have to not have ego lifting.
100%. So it's different. I wouldn't say there's more injuries, but I would say the injuries are more severe. So
So it's fun, but
yeah,
a bad one.
one, but a bad one. You know? So like,
Yeah.
for example, I obviously have, you know, my lower back is always something in the back of my mind, right?
Because of the accident.
Yes,
right?
because of the accident, because of the back surgery, because it's right in my lower lumbar spine. So sometimes this will happen when you get older, but
We don't get older.
some
get wiser.
We get wiser, but sometimes you'll sneeze and you'll throw your back. Like I'll lift 350 pounds off the floor and it will be fine, and then I'll go home and I'll sneeze or I'll sleep wrong, and the next day I can't move. So it's
I get it.
It's that.
I get it. No, because the only injuries I had in the gym, it wasn't when I was lifting. It was when I was picking something from the floors. You know, because I had bad form, I didn't care. So I guess when you're serious and you know you're gonna lift really heavy weights, then you have to be more focused, I guess,
Yeah.
and to avoid injuries and everything.
You're prepared for it.
You're prepared.
And you're in a different mindset because you're at the gym, so you know that you need to be mindful and aware, right? Also, it helps to have a good coach. It helps to have someone that understands powerlifting or whatever practice it is and can guide you through it. Because I started green in powerlifting, I didn't know anything about it. I hired a coach immediately. So I always had guidance. But I've met some people that just sort of see it and then they do it. And it's a little different. And I noticed that the biggest problem is navigating recovery. It's not really the injuries. Injuries are going to happen. This is just the truth, really, of any sport. Injuries are going to happen. It's how do you navigate those injuries and how do you navigate the recovery?
That is the hardest part.
Yeah, it's really hard, especially when you want to do it. You know, like, oh, I have X amount
We
of
also
time.
don't, I don't know about powerlifters, but I know for bodybuilders, we don't want to take time off.
No, there's
So it's always 2 weeks. And you're like, what do you mean 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Like I had a small surgery up here.
Yeah.
And they're like, 2 weeks.
Yep.
It was 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't go heavy or I didn't go all in.
Yeah.
But my first thought is like, so the recovery, how many days can we not, can we skip? So it's like 2 weeks. That's not happening. So it's really hard mentally for us not to go to the gym.
Even like tattooing, right? Tattoos are an open wound. So when I got my hand done, also the hand piece is a big piece, right? So when you get your hand done, I'm using my hand all the time. So I knew that I couldn't train for at least a week. And it was like 10 days and it was the hardest I've ever had to like resist something. I've been off. I didn't train yesterday. I'm not training today and I'm not training tomorrow. And even that feels like a long time.
Yeah.
Just giving myself a chance to reset before my program starts. So I get it.
I think everybody that is into bodybuilding and powerlifting can relate to that.
Yes. Yeah.
So we're going to leave fitness behind now. We're going to move to fashion.
Yes. Yes.
So what is fashion for you? How did you get into it and why? Because you have a very specific style.
I do.
Very different than Hollywood.
Yes.
And I want you to explain to us a little bit about your style, your inspiration, and yes.
So I'm also going to shamelessly plug Astro Elites. I have 2 clothing brands. She's wearing one of them right now. Maria is sporting one of my Astro Elites tops.
And I love this. What do you call it?
It's like this thumb sleeves.
Thumb sleeves?
No,
I love it. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
This is so cool.
Yeah. I really like long sleeved activewear that has holes in it.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
Because usually, because I have another one, it pulls me.
Yes.
This one has enough like length.
Yep.
And it's very comfortable.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So fashion for me, I know a lot of people probably say this, but it's self-expression first. It's I grew up in the English public school sector, which is uniforms. So we wear uniforms at school. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we don't have junior, middle school and high school in England. We have primary school and secondary school. And they go to the same age, but it's just we only have 2, right? And both were uniform for me. So
you know that.
Yeah. And
I went to college, but I didn't.
You didn't go to, yes. College is you can wear whatever you want, within reason. But English.
And college is not what college is here.
No.
College is like associate degree.
Yes.
And then you have uni,
yes,
which is what?
University is what a university would be over here. But you guys, so college is more like a vocational school where you get your AA, your associate's degree. And then you would go to uni to get your bachelor's and your master's and whatever else you want to get. So
you have to wear a uniform until 18?
Yes. Some schools go until 16. You do your GCSEs, and then you go to college to do your A-level.
That's right, yeah.
And so, yes. But if a school, and what's weird is my school, my high school, my secondary school went to 16, but then they had an additional graduate program until 18 where you could wear your own clothing. So we had to watch the older kids wear their own clothes, and they were like on another level, and they were cool, and we couldn't hang out with them. It was very annoying.
But they used to do that in Greece.
Yeah,
like my mom had to wear uniform, but we didn't.
You didn't. So do you have the same school system as here, or do you have like a primary school and a secondary school?
So we have elementary, which is 6 years.
Okay.
Junior high, which is 3 years. And high school with another 3 years.
Interesting. Okay.
And then you go to uni.
Right. Okay. But you have one uni where you would get like an AA, a BA, or an.
After you graduate from high school, then you get your BA.
Your BA. Got it. Okay. So there's no.
Or you can do junior high. You don't have to go to high school, which is the last 3 years. But you can go to college. So we have something called collegia, which is the same word, and then you got uni.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So similar
to Britain. Yeah, very similar.
Basically, go to school, kids. Yeah, I do. But anyway, no. So basically, I felt like in the world that I grew up in, I was not allowed to express myself verbally or emotionally. I grew up in a pretty, I wouldn't say strict household, but there were expectations of children, right? It's a generational thing too. Like you and I are in the same generation. I also think it's like a European thing. I don't really know if it's that different out here, but from what I've seen, the people I've met who are my age out here, they kind of had slightly different childhoods from me.
And I also think that the educational system is very strict in Europe.
Yes, it is.
Stricter than
much stricter than here. And there's really, there really is a divide between the adults and the children in the UK specifically. Like, if you are a kid, you're not really listened to and you're not taken seriously. And that's not to say that it isn't the same here, but I think children have a much bigger platform here than we did.
Yes. I think they have more power. I think a lot of adults treat the kids like adults.
Yeah. And like you get a vote at the table. Yeah, that didn't happen when I was growing up.
They don't discipline them enough.
No,
and I've seen it.
Definitely. We could do a whole podcast about that.
The next one.
I'm seeing. Yeah, let's do it. The next one. But so fashion for me became a way to express myself where I couldn't express myself in other areas. I also really loved to draw, and I did graphic design from a young age. So I would always draw my outfits and like how I'd want to wear them. I don't know if you remember the.
That's how I got into fashion.
Yeah,
because I saw Jennifer Lopez. I'll never forget. dress. I think it's Versace.
Yeah.
The green one.
Yes.
Yes.
That she wore.
I was good at drawing, and I wanted to.
You drew.
I wanted to try that.
Yeah.
And then I will design what I wanted to wear.
So I will never forget this. The movie Clueless, where she had the try-on wardrobe where she could move her outfits to fit her. I was like, what? Who do I have to kill to get that?
Right.
Like, I was like, it's a movie. You can't get that. I was like, well, what do I do? And he's like, draw your outfits and see kind of how you think they would fit. And so I started doing that. And how I got into the specific type of fashion I love is I went through all these different phases. I did cybergoth, where I had big pink dreadlocks. I'll send you a picture so you can see. It's kind of wild. But
It's like Camden Town style.
yeah. I used to work in Camden. I worked at a place called Cyberdog in Camden.
I've been there many times. Oh my God. Cyberdog's by the stables, right?
Yes, Cyberdog is still there. Camden has changed a lot since I was a kid. But that used to be the place I got my first pair of Doc Martens from Camden Town. It's the OG Doc Martens spot when they used to make them in England, and they used to make them with a company called Soliver. And I got my first pair of Doc Martens from there. They're still there.
I didn't know you were working there.
Oh yeah, no, I worked at Cyberdog. I worked there, and I made friends with a few of the people that worked there too. I still have, I think, maybe one piece from Cyberdog that I refuse to sell.
It's just an attraction. Every time we have people visiting from Greece, we'll take them to Camden.
Yeah.
But specifically there.
Yeah, it's a great spot to bring people to, and the food's great too. Yeah. So I did cybergoth. I did regular, like, kind of, I'd say, alternative punk. I did emo because, of course, I was of the age of emo. I did 2010 fashion with the spiky Jeffrey Campbell.
Oh yes, I had those.
Yeah. I have those, nights out where you're wearing a mini dress and no coat, even though it's 30 degrees outside. And
That's England.
Yeah, that's England. That is England. Full face of makeup, take your shoes off at the end of the night, walk down the street, wear those
jackets.
Oh God, I don't know how I survived. I'm like, maybe I was built of tougher stuff back then, because I could never now. Couldn't do that.
But it's true that you adapt to the climate.
Yeah.
Because when I used to live there, then I'll visit Greece and I never wanted to wear a jacket. Now I lived in Miami. I came back to LA and I was freezing. And I'm like, how did I survive in London?
I know.
But you adapt.
You do adapt. Yeah, this is true. And I've been here.
If you go now, it'd be like, it's freezing.
Every time I go home. And I've been here for 11 years. And every time I go home, I'm like, oh, why?
Right.
Just why? And I don't know if anyone knows this, but up until like 2 weeks ago, it rained every day in England from the start of the year. We're in March. So 2.5 months, they had rain every day. Yeah, I think they were counting. They were like, rain 45 days in a row at this point. I know, crazy, right?
But it doesn't rain like heavily. It's like a spit,
It's like
heavy rain. I experienced it in Miami.
Yeah,
That was heavy rain.
yeah.
But it can be clouds and clouds, layers of clouds for days.
Yeah. It's pretty muggy there, but we do have summer. It's just humid. Yeah, so I've done kind of every kind of fashion, and then I finally settled on pin-up and rockabilly style for almost a decade. I wore that stuff, and that was actually more because of my body type. Okay, I wanted to find clothing that I felt feminine and pretty and gorgeous in, and I did. And now I'm the same size as I was 5 years ago, but I have muscle now. Right. So what I'm discovering is you can't squeeze muscle into dresses the way that you can squeeze fat into dresses. Interesting. So none of my dresses fit me. And what's weird is that I don't feel feminine in them anymore. Now I feel bulky. Even though I'm not bulky, I feel bulky in clothes like that. And I was like, how can I wear things that make me feel the way I felt when I wore rockabilly stuff? And I realized it's kind of a mishmash of goth versus just whatever the hell I feel like. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I started doing that, I immediately felt great about myself. And so I'm selling that wardrobe because it's like, I don't wear it anymore.
Okay. So you're selling those dresses. Okay.
Yeah. And I have an extensive vintage collection. And there's a little voice in the back of my head that keeps like 3 or 4 outfits because they're just They're just too good. And I have a pair of shoes that were worn in a movie in the 1940s that I will never sell, even though they are incredibly painful. But they're my size, but they're just really narrow. And I'm like, I don't care. I'll never wear these, but I'll never sell them.
But yeah. So I've kept shoes from Topshop that I've had since 2011.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous. I wear them only for photo shoots.
Really?
Because they're impossible to walk on.
What ones are they?
So they have a pink heel.
Okay.
They're sandals. Cross in the front, pink heel in the back. They're gorgeous. They were like 100 pounds back then. That was a lot for a college.
Yes. I love Topshop, and they brought Topshop over here.
Yes,
but it's not the same. But what I've noticed is Topshop and All Saints were two brands that I felt like they all got it right. Whereas Zara, like, I never found anything in Zara that really looked good. And if it did look good, it lasted like 2 months before it fell apart. But
that is completely my style. All Saint, when I was designing, All Saint is kind of like very simple. Simple colors, not a lot of colors, basically no colors, gray, white, black,
and white.
And it's very simple. It's kind of like rock with bohemian style.
Yes.
And that's exactly like the style that I like to design.
It's like grunge meets pretty.
I love it. When you said All Saints,
What I loved about All Saints too is that it's minimalist, and so it's really good for like layering pieces. Because that's something I feel like I really don't see very much in America.
You don't need it in LA. But in London, I was more creative because you want those layers.
Yes. But I will tell you this. LA is the top spot for so many things, but not fashion.
I agree.
I come from one of the fashion capitals of the world, and if you're going to go anywhere for fashion, it's London, it's Paris, it's New York.
I would say London.
Yeah. London is also just so diverse because it's a melting pot. You know, Paris, they're a little snobby. I don't like Paris though, so I'm biased.
I don't like it either. No, I don't like the French. I work with a lot of French people, and the first thing they ask is like, "Do you speak French?"
Of course.
No, they come like to the bar in London and they speak French to me. It's like, I'm sorry, this is not Paris. This is
you're
London.
in London. Yeah, you're in London, exactly.
So I don't like that.
We have a history with the French. I have a lot of French friends actually, and I like the language, but there's like an air of I'm better than you.
No, they have that. Yeah. And if you don't speak French in France, you're screwed because they speak English, but they won't reply to you in English.
Right.
Where if you go to Italy, they don't speak English. Like they don't teach it in their school. You have to go to language school.
Yeah.
But they feel that you should be speaking French since you're visiting. You know? Which is like, really?
You know what? To an extent, I get it because
I don't.
No,
because in Greece, we are about tourism. We don't expect people to come to Greece,
right,
and speak Greek.
No, and for tourists, absolutely. But if you like, say, when I moved to Japan, right, someone was like, "Oh, you know, they speak enough English here. You don't even need to learn the language." And I was like, "But I want to."
No, but you moved there. You were not visiting. Oh yeah, I'm 100%.
Chris, no, there's no. Listen, I'm going to learn the basics. Where's the toilet? Where's the bar? Where's food? Where's the hotel?
And that's how I felt in France because we were in the airport and they didn't want to help us in English. And I'm like, that is kind of rude.
And you know what's funny is like people romanticize Paris so much. And I told my friend, I was like, imagine waking up and going on the tube, on the train in Paris, right, the underground in Paris, and you watch. So in England, we call hobos tramps. Okay, so you watch a homeless person. I'm not going to be PC. You watch a tramp get up. And I watched this guy. He was asleep on the seats. Right, there's an old woman and a pregnant woman standing because this guy is sleeping on the seats.
Oh wow!
He gets up. He yawns. He takes a drink from some bottle of alcohol. He gets up. He whips his dick out and pisses all over the train tracks, and then goes back to sleep. And I'm like, I'm like, fuck Paris. Yeah, and that was only one. I know that is dirty. Yeah,
I got during infection in the airport. That's how strange because I went from London to Greece for Easter, and Easter is kind of like a big thing in Greece.
Right.
And spent in the hospital.
Wow.
Because of friends from the other airport.
What are you going to do for Easter this year? Because you're obviously over here, but you don't
celebrate.
You don't celebrate?
Not really. No.
What's your mom going to do?
My mom is, oh, they're probably going to have a lot of things going on. The big barbecue, the big family dinner. I always see the stories and they always call us, maybe I'll try like one of the Greek churches.
Oh, that would be nice.
Maybe we'll see.
The
We'll see
Greek?
how it goes.
My father was half Greek.
I didn't tell you.
What?
I went to this event the other day and I'm talking to the guy. I'm like, he's British. I can tell. So he sees my tattoo and he's like, why do you have this name on your hand? And I'm like, because of Greek. You're not Greek. And I'm like, then he started speaking Greek to me. He's Greek Cypriot, Olympian from London.
I love that.
Like,
My friend is
oh my God. I was like, we start saying that. No, I mean, he's very nice, very, very nice. He was a client. He booked
Got
the
it.
whole thing. He was a client.
Oh, I see.
So he's into the cannabis industry.
Got it.
And she was talking to me like I'm a cousin.
I love that.
And then I talked to my, she's like, why are you asking? And I'm like, well, because I used to live in London. No, you did. I'm like, yeah, I used to live in High Bar. And it's I'm from Wolf Green. I'm like, oh my God.
That makes sense.
Because I don't meet a lot of people, especially Greek Cypriots here.
Yeah, not here. In England, there's a fair amount of Greek.
A lot of Greek Cypriots, a lot.
Did you have any like friends or family from Greece in England when you lived there? Or
No. We literally booked a flight to London and we moved right away. Yeah, because I don't recommend it to people. Like, if you want to move to another state or country, visit first.
Yeah.
Check the.
Yeah.
But it was like, I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
And when it comes to fashion, hands down, it's the best place.
Yeah.
You feel free to do whatever you want to do. Like, nobody's gonna give you any looks, and that allows you to be more creative and your inspiration.
You can almost use it as like a mask in some ways. Like if I was feeling the worse I felt, the more sort of like flamboyant my outfits were.
Okay.
Because it was kind of my way of being like, I feel crappy about myself, but I'm going to do something that makes me feel good. And like the art of putting makeup on, the art of doing your hair, it's so much more than I think people realize. It's not really about the makeup, the hair, the clothing. It's about how you can express yourself through that.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
The first year in uni, I felt a little bit, because I was trying to adopt, because I went from art school, so I did my associate in arts, then I went to uni, and it was only girls.
Right.
And I wasn't used to this.
And then
and I felt that I had to be, because they were fashionistas. I'm not a fashionista. I'm not like in love and so passionate. I just really enjoyed making the designing, and I wanted to make something that I would wear.
Yeah.
But I wasn't following the trends like an addict.
Yeah.
And I felt that that's what they did.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't think I can be this kind of fashionista, but I put a lot of work, and I was good at designing. I was drawing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do simple stuff. So I ended up winning the competition from Tesco's.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they did the women's wear designers, and we did a whole like runway. We had to make these jackets, and I honestly didn't care about competition because I'm like, I have such a big competition here, so I don't really care. But I wanted to make something that I would wear, and that's all I cared. I didn't see what anybody else was doing.
Yeah.
And I won, and they were like, "Oh wow,
That's amazing." I actually remember Tesco, Selfridges did a competition, Debenhams did a competition. I did a competition where you had to make a dress out of recycled materials.
oh wow, oh yeah." That is very innovative.
It's like,
Totally English. It's
so English.
Yeah.
So English. And it was like everyone was sort of going for the weirdest things they could find.
Yes.
But they were making the most basic dresses. And I was like, let me do it the opposite way. Let me go for the most basic material.
Right.
It was easy to work with. I chose like plastic mesh. And so sewed plastic mesh, but I made like a really cool off-the-shoulder asymmetric dress with one. And I was like, I would wear this. And actually, that ended up being, during COVID, I started making dresses for myself. I did it because I was bored out of my mind, and I was like, let me learn how to like actually sew a pattern, make a real dress without let me just try. And then I started doing my own patterns, and I started making just dresses from sight based off of my own measurements.
So a technique to create a pattern is by using your own
Yes.
other
clothes. Yeah.
So that's how I did my whole collection.
You take like a seam ripper or a pair of scissors.
So some people work on this thing.
Yeah.
But for me, it worked like, oh, I have this top and I will do alterations on that and then I'll make the pattern.
I could never really work with one of these, like to pin stuff to it was always really difficult for me. And like, I couldn't visualize how I wanted it to look because she doesn't have legs. Like, you know,
that is true, yeah.
I need to see what this would look like on me. But I did that. I actually have I bought a play suit off of Amazon, but it's this like weird stripy material that makes me look really wide and the color's not very nice. They're like that.
Oh, they're like that?
Yeah, it's modeled on like a vintage silhouette. And so I was like, this is super cute. I tried it on and I was like, what the fuck? And then I took it off and I tried it on inside out where it's just the white. And I'm like, oh, this is really cute. So I'm going to take it apart and use it to build so I can make them.
Customize it. I think it's so creative.
And I want to do it because that one's stretchy. I want to make one that's actually structured, that has boning in it and then a zipper. So it's actually going to cinch you in like a corset rather than being like stretchy. I just feel like that deserves its own thing.
See, you like the creative side.
Yes. Yeah. It's very, I like to take stuff and kind of disrupt it and change it. And sometimes I like to do it just as is, but my own take on it. So like I want to use my own material or a pattern that I like, you know? Sometimes like, for example, pink, right? Pink has how many different shades in its color palette? So many, thousands. Whereas like, if you know color theory, you'll put your hand up to this and I'll know immediately this won't look good on me because of my skin tone. But I'll know that this one will look amazing on skin tone. So if I find a dress that looks like this, that is stunning, but it's like this color looks awful, I'm going to take it, remake it out of this material where I know it suits me.
You're going to take the pattern and then kind of copy the pattern.
Yes,
and make
rebuild it, copy the pattern. Vintage patterns too. Often vintage patterns were designed with women from the 40s and 50s in mind, and they were a lot smaller than we are. They were just malnourished because of there's all sorts of reasons, right? But they had smaller feet than us, smaller heads than us, smaller hands, and so everything that you're doing, the measurements are kind of off. Right. So taking that and kind of making the adjustments to make it a modern pattern is also something I find really enjoyable. So it's just like I feel crafty, but I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just making.
But you're inventing though something else, something new, like a new style, a personal touch, and that's what another thing I want to say, because people think that if you buy expensive brands, that you're in fashion, that you're in style, which is not the case. First of all, it doesn't reflect to the actual price, to the actual worth.
Right.
So you know the big designer bags, they're only like $70. Not 1,000.
Yeah.
And it's just branding and all that. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that you're in style.
Well, it's also most of the people that are buying those designers, right? So like we'll take Louis Vuitton, for example.
Yeah.
I have a Louis Vuitton, but mine is their solid leather. I have a solid leather Louis Vuitton. I didn't do the canvas because I was like, if I'm paying $3,000 for a bag, I want it to be real leather.
Right.
What's interesting though, is no one knows that it's Louis Vuitton, except people who know, right? I didn't buy it because it was Louis Vuitton. I bought it because it's a really well-made bag. Now, conversely, I've watched a woman, she bought a Louis Vuitton and she smelled it and she was like, it doesn't even smell like leather. And I'm like, it's not, it's canvas. You can pay $2,000 for the canvas. Yeah. It's not good quality. But what's also interesting is it's the mid-range price point people that buy it. So you would never see people that have excessive wealth that buy things like that. They buy non-label stuff.
So true.
They buy things that you and I don't even have access to.
So you can literally buy from like Ross or Goodwill and style things together and look.
And it will look so much better.
$1 million.
Well, not just that, because it's also, you know, think
it's
about
like your personal taste.
Right. And with brands, you're paying for the label. You're not really paying for the quality or the item. Yeah. So they're not thinking about you when they design something. Right. Whereas Ross or places like that, they're selling brands that think about the average person and like how it's going to fit them and how it's going to move. And you can absolutely, Goodwill, any kind of thrifting is so good.
We have one next doors. Well, I always go. And then they're like, oh, where did you get this? A lot of times I get the question, where did you get this from? I'm like, Ross.
Yeah.
Goodwill.
You know what's also...
Because I don't want... I told these people that buy only designer things. fashion victims.
Oh, 100%. 100%. You're not, why are you buying it? You're buying it because it has the name on it.
Exactly.
Like I have like a penchant for designer shoes. I've always had a thing about it.
Okay.
And when I was earning really big money, I was earning big girl money, and I was like, I'm gonna buy myself a pair of these shoes. So I bought a pair of Chanel's, and I have worn them probably 500 times in the last.
Okay, so yours.
I bought another pair of Chanel's, and I've worn them once. And that's where you get down that rabbit hole of like, I bought this, and the pair of shoes that I wear all the time, they're ballerina flats.
I love those. Yeah.
They're classic. Yeah. They go with everything. I actually wore them to your birthday. What I was wearing, the black ones. Yep.
Oh, the black ones.
Yeah, the black
I
ones
remember.
the knee-high.
And then you were wearing the harness.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was wearing a harness. So I dressed.
But that's what I'm saying. That was like very creative.
I dressed my gothic outfit with Chanel flats. But everything,
I love combining different things.
The rest of the stuff I was wearing probably was worth about $50 in total. But I'm wearing $700 on my feet, but it's because I love those shoes. But that being said, the next pair I bought, I was trying to replicate that same feeling I had with those Chanel, and it didn't work. Now I have this large collection of designer shoes. I have a pair of Louis Vuittons I've never worn because they're so fucking uncomfortable. And I'm selling them. I'm selling them. Oh,
yeah.
I'm selling them because I'm like, bitch, you're never going to wear these.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, they're just, that spindly heel is just not for me. I need a sturdy heel. I need something that's going to hold me up, you know? But I think that it's, fashion victim is a great word for that, because if you ask,
and I see it in the US. And Greece.
Yeah.
They are so obsessed with brands.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea.
But it's like, if you ask any of them, why did you buy that?
Oh, because it's Chanel.
Yeah, Chanel.
Yeah.
Versace. And it's like, yeah, but did you look at it?
Yeah.
Because it looks like shit. And you could find something for $10 at the thrift store.
Or it doesn't fit you.
Right.
It's not for your body shape.
Your body shape. I've said this before as well. Like, please shop small, for the love of God. We're struggling, and we actually put like a lot of love and thought into what we make. That's the kind of thing I want to support. That's why I like thrifting. It's why I like things like that, because I'm not paying for something off the line, and I'm not paying for something that some kid made in China. Like,
and I feel that if I go to the mall, first of all, I get anxiety attacks in there, but I never find something.
Right.
And then I go across the street and I come back with like 11
I think,
tops.
yeah.
Because I always have a hard time finding tops.
I agree.
But yeah, thrifting, I think is awesome. It's like browsing. It's like so just scrolling, but live, you know?
It is, yeah, absolutely.
So cool. So I don't know if we have enough time for the cars, but it's something that I found out very recently, that you are passionate, but you also have so much knowledge to the point that you can compete with guys that are in the industry.
Yeah. Well, I own a race car. Cars.
I
have been into cars since I was old enough to sit on my dad's lap in his car. My dad was a rally driver, so he did rally.
And it's such a cool job.
It is a very cool. I did it for fun. He drove him. My dad was a big car
It's a
fan.
hobby that it's not very you don't come across.
It's not common. But my dad also grew up in the countryside in England, and that is a great spot to rally drive. Like most of
What area?
He grew up in a place called Chessington, which is just outside of London. Yeah. So Chessington World of Adventures. So he grew up like probably 20 minutes away from there. We have a theme park there called Chessington. But I learned to drive stick when I was 7.
Is it Thorpe Park?
Thorpe Park is the other side.
That's the one I've been to.
Yeah, really fun. I've been to Thorpe. I've never been to Chessington, actually. No, I've been once. Chessington is where they had Ramesses Revenge, which terrified the shit out of me. Yeah. The first roller coaster that was like a log that spun.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I do roller coasters, but that's something advanced.
I don't do any of that.
Back then, now I don't know.
No, I do. You couldn't pay me. But yeah, so I have driven stick shift since I was 7. I think I was 7 when my dad taught me. And
now in the US, it's a special skill, you know.
I know. You can't get a license without learning to drive a manual in England.
It was same in Greece. It's the same in Greece.
That's right. I remember your sister telling me.
That's why I can't drive in Greece or London.
Well, my next thing I want to get into is bikes. I want to get a bike really badly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What kind of bike?
I want to get the ones that go really fast.
Like the street bike?
Yeah.
So that my cousin from Greece has always been into street bike.
Oh, really?
So he had a Kawasaki, Aprilia, and all this stuff, but it's very dangerous to drive.
Yeah, here too. Here it's really dangerous as well. So I'm gonna, pay my way and be slow with that and learn. But yeah, I love cars. It's definitely a thing we'll probably have to touch on the next podcast.
Yes, for sure.
Got it forever.
We can talk for days.
Yeah, literally for days.
But thank you so much for sharing all that.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, we're gonna have you very soon. And next episode is actually going to be at your shop. What is the name of the shop?
So I have two stores. They're right next to each other. One is called Astro Elites, which is the athletic line that Maria is sporting and looking amazing in. And then my business where I make clothing from scratch is called Lost Laundry. I will send you the Instagrams for those.
Yeah. So next episode is going to be
we'll do it alone
and then we're going to show more of your clothes.
Yes.
And the styles and everything. So that's it from us today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, comment, and like. And we're going to see you guys at the next one.